I wanted to touch on the Bibas propaganda right now because there's a lot that people are not talking about, and I think it's pretty important to touch on. Missa as if to everybody, if you haven't been here before, I'm Mo Davis, the Tribalist Outsider. And I talk about things that I don't see other people talking about, for the most part. Did you know that being a redhead is due to a genetic mutation? Did you know that anyone can be subject to that genetic mutation? It has nothing to do with your racial background whatsoever, because it's a genetic mutation. It's an anomaly. It's actually an anomaly that affects a lot more than just the red hair. It does a lot of things to the body and makes it really complicated sometimes even to get medical treatment. And how do I know? Because I'm born a redhead. But also, it's available online. You can look this stuff up. Now, the Bibas boys' red hair is being used as propaganda to fuel your empathy as unmelanated folks, to make you think that this is a condition that proves that we heartless Swana people, we racialized people, are out there essentially to eat your children, which, I mean, let's even ignore the fact that we know for a fact that it was an Isnadi boom that did this to the boys. But regardless, sometimes unmelanated folk, in part of their exceptionalistic self-use, forget that they're not the exception. And the reason I say this is because I'm a Northeast African, Swana person, who's born a redhead. And there are a lot of redheads in my family. In fact, many diverse places in the world create redheads because it's a genetic mutation. All this to say, if you're seeing the Bibas kids and you're relating to them based on the red hair and thinking that that is a European trait, you'd be dead wrong. In fact, there are a few African tribes, obviously in African countries, that have a high percentage of the population that carry that genetic mutation. There are a lot of North Africans, because we're also Africans, even though people like to differentiate for some reason beyond my comprehension other than to divide and conquer. But there are many North Africans that carry that genetic mutation. There are many Asian people, Asian tribes, that carry that genetic mutation. And for those of you unaware, Palestine, Urdun, Syria, Qatar, Saudi, Yemen, and on and on and on, the Emirates, I can keep going. They're in Asia. All this to say is, use critical thinking to analyze what you are presented. As someone who studied also in my ridiculous amount of university years, trying to figure out what I wanted to do and ended up with 3 majors, one of them was in marketing, especially in consumer behavior. And one of them is how to reach your little buttons. Incidentally, public relations, journalism, and marketing all have that connection. The connection to the people and communicating the language that will attract them. And on that note, just a reminder, being a redhead has nothing to do with your phenotype, has nothing to do with your racial background or where your genetics were produced on this earth, has nothing to do with any form of supremacy or barbarism. It's simply a genetic mutation.